What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Everyone's having a great day today. So today's video is going to be kind of a short one, mainly because the GoPro's battery is kind of low. But anyway, we're going to be talking about today the mods I regret doing the most, which really isn't many, but there are a couple that I do kind of regret, and I kind of wanted to highlight that in today's video. So I apologize for my eye. I actually just realized I scratched it at some point, so my eye's a little red, so I apologize for that. But anyway, out here with the truck, and we're gonna go right into some of the mods that I've done in the past that I already regret. So first off is a big one, which I'm actually, no, I'm gonna save that one for last because there's only two I really regret. And then there's one I would probably go about doing differently if I were doing things, if I were looking into doing these mods today. First off is actually gonna be my seats. I bought these seats but a little over a year ago, had them installed last August, and I hate them. Pretty much, I learned my lesson. Don't buy eBay seats. They're not great quality. This bolster snapped within a few months of purchase, and they're really uncomfortable. They're too tight, and if you're smaller, if you're like 140 pounds or something like that, you'll be fine. But if you're any bigger than that, these seats are gonna hurt you really bad. I get hit in the kidneys almost constantly by these bolsters, and it's very, very, very uncomfortable. So that's why I'm planning on going back to the stock seats, and maybe eventually, if I decide to go the racing seat route again, I'll buy something like a bit bigger for a bit more bigger friendly kind of thing, like Corvos or something like that, maybe S2000 seats, since those are pretty common in Honda builds. And I really like S2000 seats. Hayden's S2000 is very comfortable to sit in and still bolstery enough to where I feel like I'm sat in pretty well. So now we're gonna move on to the second mod, which is kind of the main namesake of this video, and something I'm actually about to finally fix, which is, of course, something I made a whole video on already. This cold air intake. So this is my $65 eBay intake, which I didn't buy off of eBay, actually. I bought it off of Pro Tuning Lab, but I thought it was a different brand because I knew the Spec D intake was pretty bad, but I didn't know that Pro Tuning Lab sold the Spec D intake. When I bought it, I was under the assumption it was a Pro Tuning Lab intake, not a Spec D intake. When it showed up, Spec D was in the box, and I was in trouble. So I thought I'd at least give it a shot, and so far I've been running it for a couple years. It has caused a misfire. It has a lot of turbulence because the pipes don't even sit flush. They are poorly cut and they don't sit right. These couplers are awful. They don't fit right. And there was little to no instructions on how to put this together. We pretty much just had to kind of go for it. And yeah, for whatever reason, the MAF sensor is sitting right here in the middle of the intake, which caused some issues. And I actually wound up having to buy a new filter and a different setup for the couplers just to be able to put the MAF sensor where it should be, right next to the filter. So that's why I made a whole video talking about don't buy this intake because it's garbage and I hate it so much. And it's just garbage. I'm getting ready to replace it finally, as a lot of you guys know. I'm working on custom building a 3-inch intake because that's actually the size this truck needs. As that is like a 2 1/4, 2.5 inch intake right there. So way too small, causing a lot of restriction there. And if you're gonna buy an intake, get K&N or custom build one yourself that is the proper sizing. So yeah, that's kind of the mods I regret on this truck. So now we're going to get into kind of the things I would do different if I were going to change things up. Now obviously, of course, minus the seats and the intake, which are the two that I regret doing and obviously would change, there are a couple things that I would do somewhat differently but have the same idea with. For example, the exhaust. If I could go back, if I knew this was going to be as raspy as it was, or it is, I love the exhaust as it is. Don't get me wrong, the exhaust is great. But I do want something that's a little bit less raspy, as my intentions were to sound very similar to the Genesis 3.8, which is my favorite sounding V6 ever, and there's no way you can tell me otherwise that anything sounds better because you're wrong. But anyway, it's a little raspy for me, and if I could go back, I would switch to an H-pipe with a different muffler setup, because the mufflers on this truck are literally 6-inch long bullets that are very loud and don't really have much in terms of muffling. So I'd probably go back to something and go for more of like a Corsa Touring or Corsa Sport and have it custom fabbed. If I had known I was going to spend as much money as I did, I would have saved up a little while longer and bought Corsas to go with it. Because that's what I really wanted. I wanted a custom Corsa setup because obviously Corsa doesn't offer anything for the sport track. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to build my own setup because I just love Corsa's stuff that much. All of the cars that have Corsa exhaust that I've heard sound fantastic, whether it be a Mustang, Camaro, whatever. So I thought, why not get a custom Corsa setup for this? But I didn't wind up spending the money on it, and I kind of wish I did. Besides that though, I like everything else about it, and like I said, the exhaust is fine as it sits. I just really wanted something a little bit less raspy. And besides that, really, I would have paid more attention to the fitment on the wheels. When I got them, the shop I got them from told me that I didn't have to worry about the fitment. It was going to fit flush. It was going to be fine. No big deal. Except it doesn't fit flush. As you guys can tell, it was way sunk in on the back. I actually found out recently that you actually need a 0 offset rear wheel fitment to get flush fitment on the rear. And those are plus 40. So it is definitely horrible offset for the front, or the rear. The front offset's okay. I think it could probably need maybe like plus 10, or not plus 10, plus 30, maybe plus 20 for the front to fit flush. But goodness gracious, that rear fitment's whack. But yeah, like I said, this video is gonna be pretty short. So I hope you all enjoyed just this little quick video on the mods I regret most and things that I would do different if I have the chance. So I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.